Okay, the world is ending. The world is ending. The world is not ending. Something very unusual happened yesterday. Tremendously unusual. My brother, my oldest brother texted me and he said, "You gotta check this video out. Disclosure is coming very soon." And he sent a video of, I don't even know what the guy's name was. Mike something? Malice? Morris? I don't remember. But, okay, so I listened to a little bit of the video, and it was nothing too terribly special. It was just him saying that Trump was talking about the Space Force and, you know, possibly trying to, I don't know what he was trying to say. I didn't listen to very much of it. But the important part about it is that my brother sent me that text. That's the important thing. That's the unusual. That's the anomaly. I have to find out why that happened. Because my oldest brother is like, he's the most even-keeled person you could possibly get. Like, he knows all about all of the everything as far as potentialities, and he's level-headed. Like, he doesn't talk about anything to anybody, really. Like, I can't even get anything out of him unless I prod, for the most part. He doesn't just volunteer information. No, for the most part, he just plays as, Avatar. I am human, doing human things. And I think you know what I mean in that context. I'm not talking about human versus alien. I'm just talking about the given narrative. He plays along with the given narrative for the most part. So for him to send that text, that in and of itself was interesting. Nothing in the video was interesting. And yeah. Also, Joe Rogan's thing, down is up is down. He's just pairing opposites, and he's trying to promote that little video clip, which I don't know if that's leading to like a full feature film with a Donald Trump, Mariah Carey mashup creature dancing around, or if he's just trying to promote the idea that the mishmash mix-up confusion is continuing. I don't know what he's trying to promote. I didn't even see that it was about that video. I just saw the tweet at first, and the tweet was not directly linked to the video. Then someone said, "Oh, there's a video connected to it on his Facebook post," so I looked at that. And I don't know what Joe's, I never know what Joe is smoking. I'm not saying that derogatorily, but I don't know, like, I actually don't like Joe Rogan that much, to be honest. He's kind of boring to me. I feel like he went and investigated some weird noises in some bay when he was doing the Joe Rogan Questions Everything, and I think he got scared somehow. And like people are also saying he has family and kids. I have family and kids. Pretty much everybody has family and kids. So if that element of it comes into play, then for the most part you will slow your row because you enjoy having your family stay intact. But with that being said, I don't really like him that much. That's not very relevant to this. I feel like what we're pushing towards with all of the insanity in politics it's of course multi-leveled, like everything is, if you actually are willing to look to the layers. But they keep on pairing contradictions, essentially. Like, they will pair contradictions, and generally speaking, pairing contradictions is not a happy fun time for the mind, as we all know from 1984, when the whole doublespeak thing came around. It's not fun to have your mind get fragmented and split, but it's doing something more than that for the old souls that have been around forever and who understand that the mind fracturing process is an early developmental stage. And it's also just partially to break the technology of ego. And I'm not saying for sure it's technology. I believe it's technology, but that mind fracture process does break that ego thing, whether it's tech or not. It's not a healthy thing for a living being to be operating via. So that's partially, I think, what all of the contradictory doublespeak type of politics that go on are about. And also, importantly, they're trying to prep like the populace to believe anything other than it's a weird, like, it's very difficult to explain what it is. I feel like the reason it's being portrayed in this one way, like, just dumb, silly, backwards, is to keep people safe from the notion that there's much more beyond this world. But at the same time, there have to be some triggers or tricks or ploys to coax the ones who are ready to come out of the game to come out, to come talk with whoever, maybe with their higher selves. Maybe it's not even with a specific other, but there has to be some way to bring people out of the snoozing slumber and remember like what sort of wholeness is, because this whole state is a fractured state until you're not fractured anymore. And the up is down, down is up. 1984 Ian Orwellian doublespeak notion of pairing contradictions, and especially if you add in some crazy Disney music or some some Christmas music while people are getting murdered or raped in the background, like, that's of course the traumatic trauma anchor, trauma bonding. That's how people get a lot of their altars to peel off and split off. And there are various levels and layers of that sort of thing. But part of the point is that if you make it through the mind fracture, the initial one, that's just like, oh God, nothing's real and everything's fake and everything's a lie and whatever, the sort of thing that comes in. If you make it past that, then your mind will start operating in a way that when you see any duality piece expressed in word form, you recognize the other, you recognize its opposite inside of that sentence and inside of what the sentence is trying to talk about. So if someone says, I was climbing a really tall mountain, then you automatically think of like a molehill simultaneously as you think of someone climbing a tall mountain. And this is just referential to the fact that duality is the duality paradigm is strictly what's it called? Relative. It's strictly relative. And it being strictly relative makes it the best possible dupe system if you, as, you know, cattle herder, or, you know, some higher dimensional loosh farmers, if you want to keep the humans in line, that would be the easiest way to do it, is to convince them inside of a strictly relative, you know, reality state, that there is some absolute truth about that reality state from within it. Like, there's some actual explanation from within it that explains everything with a succinct and fully developed and sort of set or unchanging narrative or worldview. That's how you would do it. That's how it is done. That's exactly how it's done. It's just that when you can come out of the first initial fracture, then your mind starts just seeing every duality aspect as its opposite. So good is evil, up is down, left is right, because they're necessary for each other. It's just like if you had been playing with one side of the quarter, only you never knew that there was a tails. And someone always told you, no, like, you know, good is very different from evil. Like, heads is very different from tails. Like, they don't play along with each other. And I know I might be boring you a little bit with sort of Alan Watts-ish oration. And that's not intentional, but at the same time, I also don't give a shit. So I care about people's feelings very slightly, like a little bit. But mostly, you gotta figure your own shit out and buck up. So the heads and the tails is the same coin. In that sense, up is down, down is up, good is bad, left is right. And I know people hate that. People with any type of morality cannot stand that notion, because it means their whole thing that they've set up as a moral compass to life, in a sense, is a bunch of bullshit. And it is. So, let me know what you think of Joe's ambiguous statement. Joe's doublespeak Orwellian statement about Mariah Carey and Donald Trump. Andrew is making a very interesting painting. Very interesting. That coincides with all of this, which you will all see soon. I gotta get back to the place because we have a Snail Collective meeting coming up, and I'm being a bad host if I'm about to be late to my own thing, which does not look like I will, but I might. So I'm gonna get back to that, and yeah, just weigh in on what you guys think. Space, the secret space program. I think I've already explained my thoughts on that, and that's just that the final frontier is the mind, inside of which exists all the planetary systems and the bodies and the people and the yada yada yada. Is my general understanding. That's where the secret space program would reside, inside of your mind. Peace!